Chapter 5, Echoes of the Past. The morning light barely penetrated the dense canopy of Blackwood Forest as the group set out from the clearing, where they had spent the night. The forest seemed to pulse with an energy that grew more intense with each step they took. The previous day's discoveries, the hidden sanctuary, the sphere of clarity had left them both excited and apprehensive. They knew they were getting closer to the heart of the forest's mysteries, but they also sensed that the most dangerous challenges were still ahead. Their path led them deeper into the forest, and soon they reached a narrow, winding trail marked on the map as a route to a long-forgotten part of the forest with a grim history. As they walked, the atmosphere grew heavier, the trees more twisted, and the air colder. The silence was occasionally broken by the distant calls of unseen creatures. "This place feels different," Kali said, shivering slightly. "It's almost like the forest itself is alive and watching us." Sira nodded. "The energy here is palpable. I read about places like this, where the past lingers and the echoes of old events can still be felt." The group followed the trail until they came upon an ancient stone archway, partially obscured by ivy and brambles. The archway was adorned with intricate carvings and runes that seemed to pulsate with a faint, eerie glow. "This must be it," Zephyr said, examining the archway. The map mentioned a place called the Wraith's Glade, where significant events from the past are said to have taken place. Orion studied the carvings closely. "These symbols are related to the history of the forest's dark times. It looks like this was once a place of great power and possibly a site of tragic events." The group carefully passed through the archway and entered the glade. It was a wide, open space surrounded by towering, ancient trees. At the center stood a large stone monument covered in moss and vines. The monument was inscribed with old, faded runes. "This monument must be a historical marker," Orion said, pointing to the runes. "It could provide more insight into what happened here." Zephyr approached the monument and began to decipher the runes. "It looks like this is a memorial of sorts, dedicated to those who fell victim to the forest's dark forces. There's a reference to a significant event where a group of people tried to banish a great evil but ultimately failed." As Zephyr translated the inscription, the forest seemed to grow even more oppressive. The air grew colder, and a dense fog began to roll in, obscuring their surroundings. The atmosphere was thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the distant, mournful cry of a bird. "Something doesn't feel right," Kali said, her voice trembling. "It's like the forest is reacting to what we're discovering." Sira, her gaze fixed on the monument, spoke softly. "This place holds the echoes of the past. The tragic events that occurred here might still linger, and the spirits of those involved could be restless." As if in response to her words, the fog thickened, and a spectral figure began to materialize near the monument. The figure was a woman dressed in old-fashioned garments, her features etched with sorrow and despair. Who are you?" Zephyr asked, taking a cautious step forward. The ghostly woman looked at them with a haunting sadness. "I am Alara, a guardian of this place. Long ago, I was one of those who tried to protect the forest from a great evil. We failed, and now our spirits are bound here, unable to find peace." The group exchanged worried glances. Alara's presence confirmed their fears that the forest was still haunted by the past. "We're here to understand the forest's history and find a way to protect it," Zephyr said. "Can you help us?" Alara's eyes softened with a glimmer of hope. "The forest's curse is tied to the events that transpired here. If you can uncover the truth and complete what was left undone, you might be able to set things right. And not all are meant to be uncovered." Orion, who had been listening intently, spoke up. "What can you tell us about the events that happened here? How can we complete what was left undone?" Alara's form flickered, and she began to recount the story. "Many years ago, a powerful dark force was unleashed upon the forest. A group of guardians, including myself, sought to banish this evil using a powerful artifact, a relic known as the Crown of Shadows. But our efforts were in vain, and the artifact was lost. the dark force was contained, but our spirits were bound here, waiting for someone to finish what we started. The group listened intently as Alara continued. The crown of shadows was hidden away to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. It is said to be buried in a place of great power, marked by the very symbols you've seen. To truly banish the dark force, you must find the crown and use it to complete the ritual we began. The ghostly figure began to fade, her form becoming more transparent. I cannot stay for long. Beware of the darkness that lurks in the forest. It will try to stop you, but if you are brave and true, you may yet succeed. As Alara's apparition vanished completely, the fog around them began to lift. The group stood in stunned silence, absorbing the gravity of what they had learned. The crown of shadows was the key to fully overcoming the dark force that had plagued the forest, but finding it would not be easy. We need to find the crown of shadows, Zephyr said, determination in his voice. Alara's story has given us a crucial lead. We know what we need to do, but we have to be prepared for whatever lies ahead. The group gathered their belongings and consulted the map and scrolls they had. The symbols on the monument and the clues from Alara's story pointed to a hidden location deep within the forest, marked by an ancient symbol that resembled a crown. Their journey took them further into the forest, following the symbols and clues that led them to a secluded, darkened grove. The trees here were ancient and gnarled, their branches twisted into ominous shapes. The air was thick with an unsettling silence. This is it, Orion said, examining the symbols on the trees. We're close to the location mentioned in the story. The group began to search the grove, their efforts guided by the symbols and the map. After hours of searching, they found a hidden entrance covered by a thick curtain of vines. Behind the vines, a staircase descended into darkness. Zephyr took a deep breath. This is it. We're about to uncover the crown of shadows. Stay alert and be prepared for anything. They descended the staircase, their path illuminated by the glow of their artifacts. The air grew colder, and the darkness seemed to close in around them. At the bottom of the stairs, they entered a vast underground chamber. The chamber was filled with ancient relics and artifacts, many of which were covered in dust and cobwebs. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal, and on it rested an ornate dark crown, the crown of shadows. The group approached the pedestal with a mixture of awe and apprehension. The crown was intricately designed, its dark jewels shimmering with a faint otherworldly light. This must be it, Zephyr said, carefully reaching for the crown of shadows. As Zephyr lifted the crown, the chamber was suddenly filled with a blinding light. The air crackled with energy, and the ground shook violently. The ancient dark force that had been contained in the forest was awakening. We need to complete the ritual, Orion shouted over the noise. The scrolls and artifacts must be used to seal the dark force once and for all. With urgency, the group gathered the necessary items and began to perform the ritual as instructed. The chamber was filled with intense energy as they worked together, their movements synchronized and precise. As the ritual reached its climax, the light from the crown intensified, and a powerful surge of magic swept through the chamber. The dark force that had been stirring was finally subdued, its malevolent presence fading into nothingness. Exhausted but victorious, the group looked at each other with relief and triumph. They had completed the ritual and neutralized the dark force that had plagued the forest for so long. We did it, Zephyr said, breathing heavily. The forest is free from the dark force. The crown of shadows was carefully placed back on its pedestal, its power now contained and controlled. The group emerged from the underground chamber, their spirits lifted by the success of their mission. As they made their way back to the surface, the forest seemed lighter and more vibrant. The oppressive atmosphere had lifted, replaced by a sense of peace and renewal. The group had faced incredible challenges and uncovered deep secrets, but their journey was far from over. The forest still held many mysteries, and they knew that their quest was not yet complete. With their spirits buoyed by their recent victory, the group continued their exploration of Blackwood Forest, ready to confront any remaining dangers and uncover the ultimate truth behind the ancient secrets that lay hidden within the forest's depths. As the group emerged from the underground chamber, the first light of dawn was beginning to break through the forest canopy. The air was crisp and the forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The oppressive atmosphere that had weighed them down was now replaced with a calm, almost serene ambience. The crown of shadows is securely placed back on its pedestal, Zephyr said, looking back toward the entrance they had exited. The ritual was a success, but we should remain vigilant. The forest may still hold other secrets or dangers. Syrah glanced around at the now vibrant forest, her eyes reflecting a mix of relief and curiosity. The energy here feels different. It's as if the forest is responding to the release of the dark force. I wonder if the curse has been completely lifted. Orion, who was studying their map, nodded thoughtfully. The map indicates there are still a few more locations we need to check. These sites might provide additional clues or artifacts that could be crucial in fully understanding and protecting the forest. Kali, always ready to lighten the mood, tried to break the tension. Well, as long as we don't run into any more ghosts or curses, I'm all for exploring the remaining sites. Let's hope we get a bit of a break this time. With renewed energy and a sense of accomplishment, the group set out toward the next location, indicated on their map, a place known as the Enchanted Glade. The path to this new site was less ominous, winding through areas of the forest that seemed almost idyllic compared to the foreboding landscape they had just left. The Enchanted Glade was known for its unusual flora and magical properties. As they approached, the trees parted to reveal a breathtaking sight, a meadow filled with luminescent flowers that glowed softly in the dim light. The air was filled with a gentle hum, and the flowers seemed to sway rhythmically, as if responding to an unseen melody. "This is beautiful," Syrah said, her eyes wide with wonder. "I've never seen anything like this before." The group carefully entered the glade, taking in the sight. The flowers emitted a soothing fragrance that seemed to calm their nerves after the intense experiences of the previous days. At the center of the glade was a small, crystal-clear pond with water that sparkled like diamonds. Zephyr led the way, approaching the pond to investigate further. "Let's see if there's anything of significance here. We should look for any clues or artifacts." As they examined the glade, they noticed an inscription carved into a large stone near the pond. The inscription was written in the same ancient script as the runes they had encountered before. Orion took out the translation scrolls and began to decipher the inscription. This inscription talks about a protective charm hidden in this glade. It's said to have the power to enhance the forest's natural magic and protect it from future threats. Kali, ever curious, peered around the glade. A protective charm sounds like something that could come in handy. Let's find it. The group split up to search the glade, carefully examining the flowers, rocks, and trees. It was Syrah who eventually found a small, intricately carved wooden box buried beneath a bed of glowing flowers. The box was adorned with symbols matching those on the inscription. "This must be it," Syrah said, holding up the box. "Let's see what's inside." Zephyr opened the box to reveal a delicate, silver pendant set with a radiant gem. The pendant seemed to pulse with a gentle light, and the air around it felt charged with magic. "This pendant is likely the protective charm mentioned in the inscription," Orion said, examining the pendant closely. "It's beautiful, but its true power will be revealed when we activate it." The group carefully secured the pendant, knowing it could be a crucial asset for protecting the forest and their quest. As they prepared to leave the enchanted glade, they took a moment to appreciate the tranquil beauty of their surroundings. "We've made great progress," Zephyr said, his voice filled with a sense of accomplishment. "But we need to stay focused. There are still more places to explore and more answers to find." With the protective charm in hand, the group set off toward their next destination. The journey took them through parts of the forest that were less familiar, and as they traveled, they reflected on the significance of their discoveries. As night fell, they set up camp in a clearing. The mood was more relaxed than it had been in days, and the group shared stories and laughter around the campfire. The successes of the day had lifted their spirits, and the camaraderie among them was stronger than ever. "The forest has tested us in ways we could never have imagined," Zephyr said, looking around at his friends. "But we've faced each challenge head-on and come out stronger. We're getting closer to uncovering the full truth." Kali raised her cup in a toast. "To our amazing teamwork and to the mysteries we've yet to uncover. Here's to more adventures and, hopefully, fewer hauntings." The group cheered in agreement, their laughter echoing through the forest. As they enjoyed their evening, they knew that their journey was far from over. The forest still held many secrets, and the ultimate truth remained just beyond their reach. As they settled down for the night, each member of the group felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. They had faced the darkness of the past and uncovered valuable artifacts and knowledge, but their quest to protect the forest and reveal its ultimate secrets was far from complete. With the dawn of a new day approaching, the group prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. They knew that their journey would continue to test their resolve, but they were ready to face whatever came their way. The forest had become a part of them, and they were committed to seeing their mission through to the end. The adventures of Blackwood Forest were far from over, and the group was more determined than ever to uncover the forest's final secrets and ensure its protection for generations to come.